All right, so we have a 2008 Toyota Corolla here. Let's see how many miles are on it. 172,000. It's here for a misfire. They took it to some other guy who works on cars, and he changed an ignition coil, which looks like number 1 because I could see a Duralast ignition coil on it. So it indeed feels like it's misfire when it's running. So I did a quick cylinder drop test with just by unplugging each coil, and every coil that I unplug affects the engine. It pretty much wants to turn off. All right, but then I did a clear flood mode and cranked the engine, and it doesn't sound too good. It definitely sounds like we have a cylinder that's not or something that's going on. So let's go ahead and listen to that. At this point, I already have all of the ignition coils unplugged. So let's go ahead and listen to this. So hopefully you guys could hear that. So it does not sound consistent. So let's do now I don't know what cylinder it is. I haven't even put codes or anything like that. Let's do a quick relative compression test. All right, so I've done this test 2 or 3 times just to confirm and make sure everything was the same. And each time I get the same results. We can see we have 2 cylinders up here. Let's see if I could, no, I can't zoom in anymore, maybe. Yeah, okay. So you can see we have 2 cylinders up here and 2 cylinders down, and it keeps repeating over and over. And like doing this test like 3 times, I get the same results, like I said. And with the engine running, it definitely does not feel like a single cylinder misfire. So I am believing this data that there is something wrong with 2 cylinders because it is running very rough. So at this point, let's see what codes are stored. All right, so we have a bunch of codes here, but all of these ignition coil circuit codes, that was me, just by unplugging the coils to do a cylinder drop test, like I said. But the only other codes we have here is a random misfire and cylinders 1, 2, and 4 misfire. I don't see a code for cylinder 3. Alright, so I did a compression test on cylinder number 1, and we are getting about 78 psi, somewhere around there, less than 80, so that's not good. I want to find which other cylinder is low. Because of the relative compression test, we know 2 of them are low. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do compression checks on the other 3. I'm sure I could have used a second channel and just went off of a sync rate and did that, but I didn't do it like that. So it's super easy to do these, and I got enough time. Cylinder number 4, and we have about 150 psi. Based off of our codes, we didn't have any misfires on cylinder 3, so it's why I went for number 2 next. And sure enough, number 2 has about 90 psi. So cylinders 1 and 2 are our main problems here. So I guess we could try to figure out where this compression is going. So I actually found it difficult to find out when this cylinder is on a compression stroke because of the such little compression that it makes, especially when you're just rotating it slowly with a ratchet. So I put a glove on the end, and as I was coming up, the glove started to inflate a very little bit. It quickly lost its pressure, but I saw it starting to inflate, so I know it's on a compression stroke. And now we could do our leak down test. All right, so I took the cap off of the radiator so we could see if any air is escaping out the cooling system. Let's go ahead and plug this air in. Alright, so as you can see, we're at 90 psi on this side and about 15 on this side, so that's a 75% leakage on cylinder 2. Nothing coming out the cooling system. Back here, really nothing. But I could hear a lot of air just rushing past here. Now I tried to remove these clamps, but they're just too rusted in place. I can't remove them. So all I did was open the air box, and yes, I could hear the air coming through the intake system. So I'm gonna put you in here and hopefully you can hear this. All right, so hopefully you guys heard that. Yeah, it's confirmed we have a leaking intake valve for cylinder 2. Now I'm not really worried about what's leaking on cylinder 1 because yeah, if they're gonna want to fix it, the head has to come off either way, right? All right, so I decided to do cylinder 1. So you got 90 psi on this side, and we got a little bit past 10 on this side, and there goes the air compressor. So yeah, you can see we got about 80% leakage. That's crazy. And I did check it, it is coming out the intake again, so both intake valves. So I think that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I don't know what's gonna happen to the car. If I find out what's gonna happen to it, I'll keep you guys updated. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.